#1.
Miss any part of the show? Every moment of every show is available in podcast form by searching Hans and Scotty on your favorite podcasting platform or online at KSLSports.com. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know, we give Lloyd a lot of grief. He's got it dialed in today.
Yeah, every once in a while, man, he'll pick up some good music, bring us on some bumpers.
Yeah, got a little Californication with Wayne Cook, UCLA sideline reporter, who's going to join us here in just a moment. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, getting you ready for Utah and UCLA.
I just mentioned this to you in the break. 10 days away from Iowa State, Kansas State, kicking off at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, August 23rd. 10 days away. And we get to see the Big 12 in an out-of-country matchup in one of the biggest conference matchups that we're going to have all year, right out of the gates, Iowa State versus Kansas State.
Armageddon over there.
Yeah, two of the four top 25 ranked Big 12 teams already in action to kick off the football season, which is nice because it's going to bring eyeballs to the Big 12 season. But that's a game that you'd probably like to see a little bit later. Between two powerhouses in the Big 12.
And on one of their home fields.
Yeah.
Too. But hey, beggars can't be choosy.
Right.
I'm all for it. All right, joining us, UCLA sideline reporter Wayne Cook, kind enough to hang out with us. Wayne, how you doing?
Hey, Wayne.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Very good.
Very, very good. The season is coming up, and I know there's a lot of things to do in Southern California, but I got to imagine you're fired up for a little bit of college football.
It's time, you guys. I mean, enough. We talk so much about, and let's be honest, college football has become something that's very easy to talk about everything else. But for the most part, we have games coming up. So as is usual, I know we're all excited to get that thing started.
What'd you think of the first year in the Big Ten with the UCLA Bruins?
Well, I mean, you know, we could talk about a lot of different things. The schedule was pretty brutal. We finished strong. I actually thought there was another win or two in that season last year, but it wasn't what UCLA wants. I mean, one of the crazy things is I stayed up last night watching a lot of Inside College Football. I watch all the stuff on ESPN, CBS. I'm watching all the shows, and the guys at Inside College Football, which, by the way, Randy Cross and Rick Neuheisel are both Bruins, they didn't even talk about UCLA. I mean, it literally didn't even come up, right? And I get it. It's an 18-team conference, but, you know, Utah, some people are putting them, kind of sneaking them into their top 25, you know, stuff like that. But UCLA is just getting ignored, and I kind of am like, do people even realize that, you know, Nico Iamaleava was a five-star kid that led his team to 10 wins last year, and it's just kind of been like, yeah, but he's going to UCLA now, so they don't have enough talent. And that's not what I see, guys. So it's kind of like for me when I go out to practice, and we all know what the transfer portal can do. We saw what happened last year. And we see the preseason polls shoot 10 teams from the SEC gets into the AP top 25. I wonder if there's any bias going on there. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe it's better to be Arizona State or Indiana and just kind of sit back and wait till the games start and then show people what you can do. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for this year, because what I'm seeing at practice, and I've been to quite a few, what I'm seeing from this coaching staff, which is almost all brand new this year, I'm seeing some great things. And so, yeah, there's some areas that have me concerned, but there's enough good to where I'm excited of the opportunities. The Big Ten doesn't, let's be honest, I thought the Pac-12 was a pretty darn good conference the last few years, especially before it was, you know, assassinated by the powers that be. But the idea is that, you know, Oregon won the conference their first year in it. I think Washington will be back. I think SC will be better. And I think UCLA is going to be better this year too.
Was the, decade of being in the Pac-12, does Utah move the meter in a non-conference game for fans down at UCLA? Do they look at that as a quality barometer test for them?
It better. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but it's such a sneaky good game.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm like, what you have, whether you like or dislike Nico, he's a story. So whether you want to see him fail or you want to see him succeed, show up and watch. But Kyle Whittingham has not had a year like last year. So show up and watch. I mean, these are two programs that to me, it's just one of those, that's the game you want to end your day with. There's some really good games, but, man, make sure you're watching UCLA. So I'm very, very hopeful. UCLA under Deshaun Foster is doing, a really good job this year of building hype around how well they're recruiting. This is a younger coaching staff. We're bringing in Tino Sinceri, who was Curtis Rourke's quarterback coach at Indiana last year, and we saw what they did. And I'm telling you guys, this guy is unbelievably impressive. So UCLA is like, to me, I look at these two teams and I'm like, there's great storylines. There are two programs that people should be paying attention to. So I would hope it's a game that people end their day with, because it's going to be a good game.
I'm so curious, what kind of coach is Deshaun Foster?
Man, I'm telling you, from first year to second year, he's I think he has a staff. You guys, if you remember, Chip Kelly left kind of late in the cycle. So I think what happened with Deshaun Foster is he had to put a staff together that wasn't necessarily the staff that he wanted. The offensive system that we put in last year, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus because it's a collective effort when you lose, but holy cow, the offense couldn't have been any worse last year. When you're scoring 16 points a game in college football, especially the modern era, it's pretty bad. And people always want to look at people to blame. They start with the quarterback, and then usually they go to the O-line. But to be quite honest with you, I'll blame it on the system a little bit. And you've got to put people in situations where they can succeed. And trying to implement an NFL offense in such a short period of time was pretty complicated. And so I think bringing in Sinceri and everything I've seen so far, man, he just speaks my language as an old quarterback. He says a lot of the things that I want to hear. Nico's been a quarterback that's come in, and you can tell he wants to be a leader. He wants to get better. His younger brother, Madden, I mean, these guys, they're not problems at all. As a matter of fact, they're the guys you want to have on your team. So there's a lot of good, but going back to Deshaun Foster, you have to go out and say, I want the number one transfer on my team. No matter what anybody else says, like, we're going to take a gamble. And by the way, I don't think it was much of a gamble. When you get a guy of that kind of talent, you bring him in. And it was a good move. And it's just, I think Deshaun is comfortable this year, to answer your question. I think he's getting more used to being the head coach. And like I said, I've been to 5 or 6 practices already. And it's great how hard this team works, the competition. There's more depth. So what they've done, not just recruiting for future years, but what they did in the transfer portal, retaining the good players that we wanted, totally revamped the running back group, which I'm excited about. And just everything that's going on, I think Deshaun's doing a great job. Obviously, we want to see that turn into more wins. But remember, they won, 4 out of their last 6 games, and probably should have beat a good Minnesota team that, so they did a pretty good job at the end of last year. But I think this year I expect more, and I see a much more comfortable Deshaun Foster.
So there was a player that I covered that came into a team via the transfer portal, and he had this bit of a history to them, and you're like, okay, what kind of guy you bring in the locker room? And I get to know him, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's a good dude. He just had some not bad, but he got some bad advice and didn't quite handle it the right way. Do you get that? And I'm asking you to speculate a little bit with Nico, but do you think ultimately at the end of the day, he just was, other people got involved and made it uglier than it needed to be?
That could be part of it. It really could be. And it's what's been really fun, you guys, is I've met, both Nico and Madden. And by the way, the future is bright for UCLA at quarterback, because Madden, the younger brother who was at Arkansas, came back to UCLA, will almost for sure redshirt this year. But I'm telling you, man, this guy's got a ton of arm talent too. Like really, really talented young players. So the idea is that sometimes that happens. I mean, think about what we're talking about though, you guys. This is what's so funny to me. Quarterbacks have become mercenaries. The system we set up. Think about the ones we've been talking about. Bo Nix didn't start at Oregon.
Nope.
He started somewhere else. Dylan Gabriel, Oregon's quarterback. That was his 3rd or 4th school, whatever it was. These guys are Carson Beck left Georgia to go to Miami for a lot of money. And for whatever reason, and I know the way it happened with Nico, it sounded like a holdout and all that stuff, but there's more to it. There's more to coming home, being with family. Maybe there's some talk about the type of offense that was being run. I know that Tino Sinceri is running an offense where it's very much using the whole field and going through your progressions, and I think they like the idea of that. So, really, are we going to pick and choose which kid to vilify for chasing money, even if that's the case? And Nico said it many times. I'm not chasing the money. He's not getting paid what I think people said he wanted at Miami. So maybe he did want to come home. He did want to play for a local school. And so everything I've seen for him, and I agree with you, some of these kids that transfer, you're like, well, if a kid transfers a bunch of time, there's probably something wrong with the kid. But one thing I've learned over the last 3 or 4 years is some of these athletes have come in and been fantastic. But this is the cautionary tale. Some of the stuff that I think we probably need to talk about, and it happens at UCLA, it happens everywhere. Some of these kids get that paycheck, and I'll steal a little line from Kirby Smart, like how you want these kids with intrinsic motivation. Like some of these kids get a paycheck, they start getting some money, and they stop working hard. And you don't want that. And so you may get a few of those, but when you get the one that they're motivated by being great and the money's just a byproduct, those are the ones you can build the team around. And I would say that UCLA's found enough of those. And from what I've seen from Nico so far, man, he puts in the work, and he's trying to get better every single day, and he's being coached hard. That's the other scary thing about the modern era of football. And even in high schools now, you coach a kid too hard and try to push him to be as good as he can be, and the next thing you know, that kid and his parents are talking about transferring. So it's tricky, but from what I've seen, it's been really good.
So last year, Carson Schlesinger led the team in tackles, sacks, interceptions, led it in pretty much every category, and he heads to the NFL along with second leading tackler Kane Medrano, another linebacker. So losing a couple of captains, a couple of veterans, a couple of real tough dudes on the defensive side of the ball, what do you expect to kind of step in there, and what kind of depth are you going to see defensively?
So this is what's been the most fun about this offseason and what's so crazy about college football. Kane Medrano was the fastest linebacker in the draft, and I absolutely love the guy. Like, he had some flaws, but, man, what an athlete. He's with the Commanders now. He looked good in preseason. Carson Schlesinger went off in his first game, and he looks like he's probably going to start. Femi Oladejo is over at he was our best guy coming off the edge. So we lost some guys. But people forget the year before, that was the year we had Latu and the Murphys, and all those guys are playing in the NFL, Darius Muasau. So I think people forget what Ikaika Malloy is doing. Last year was his first year as a defensive coordinator. This is his second. Man, he found a way to make that. And trust me, that defense was better than its numbers last year because the offense was so bad. Like, the offense didn't help at all. So the defense was actually better than their numbers, and they had some really good players. But now I go out to practice, and we have a player, John Vaughns. John Vaughns played both baseball and football, and his eligibility was up in baseball. So he participated in his first spring practice. Never had done that before because he was always playing baseball. So John Vaughns is now basically, as people are putting it, he finally has a linebacker body instead of a baseball player's body. So he looks like he's a starter. We have Jalen Woods, who's been at UCLA for a while now, and I'm telling you, we've been saying this guy's going to be really good. He's going to be really good. And he's played quite a bit of snaps, but those two guys look great. We got Donnie Pellot. We got a couple of transfers that have come in. Chisholm from Oregon State, who was a freshman All-American. I'm telling you, we got a kid named Ben Perry, number 10, who can fly around the field. So you start looking at the backers, and you're like, we're pretty solid, like deep and athletic. And then you go to the outside, and this is the question mark for UCLA since Latu left. We don't have a real good rush end, but we brought in a couple of transfers there too, and I'm telling you, the guy to watch, you guys, big number 15, his name's Anthony Jones. He's from Michigan State, and he is a disruptor in practice. He's a guy that is in the backfield a lot, which when you're watching, both sides are on the same team, you start wondering about the guy that's blocking them, but you start noticing how disruptive he is. And the one thing I've seen in that front seven, you guys, is there's quite a bit of depth. And even though we lost some really good players, feels like the coaching staff has done a great job of replacing those players either through the transfer portal or they just had kids already on. When you have really good players, sometimes the guys right behind them are really good too. They're just not as good at this point. So we have some depth to replace those guys.
How is UCLA in the world of NIL? I mean, obviously there's a ton of money in Southern California, but is it making its way into that athletic program?
Yeah, we've gotten better. everybody that I talk to in the NIL programs, I mean, there's, again, the Nico Iamaleava should kind of move the needle a little bit, right? People love to watch quarterbacks play. So I think that'll start, but then you got to win, right? Mm-hmm. So Coach Foster's talked about it. He hasn't really lost players that they really wanted necessarily because of money. So the NIL effort is doing really, really well. I think people forget that UCLA was still right up near the top in the whole athletic department as far as it was Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, and UCLA that won the most Big Ten championships this last year. So UCLA is doing really, really well. And don't forget this, they brought in the number one football recruit in the transfer portal in Nico, and the point guard in basketball, Dent, was also the number one transfer. So there's a lot of good things happening. But sometimes, and this is the truth, sometimes in LA the press doesn't know how to do anything but be negative. And to be honest with you, when you go 5-7, they probably should be, and the basketball team wasn't good as it should be last year. But I'm hopeful that this year the winning's going to start. And when that happens, people are more willing to give their money up.
Well, I got to imagine, too, just having the Deshaun Foster brand, who was such an amazing piece of that college football team as a player and really hasn't gone many other places. I think he had a minute with, was it Texas Tech or was it Texas A&M he was at for a minute? But outside of that, this guy has been all UCLA for the better part of his life, and I'm hoping people surround that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he was an amazing high school player in Tustin, which is, a stone's throw away from UCLA. He was a superstar. Because I started covering UCLA, and this is an age thing here, right around the time Deshaun Foster was graduating. Like, that's when I started dabbling in the broadcasting stuff. But I remember watching him as a player at UCLA, and I was blown away with his talent. He had a solid NFL career. We all have to deal with injuries, and, no one plays as long as they want to, it feels like, or very few people. But he was just such a good player. But he came back, and people forget, like, I joke around about, Kyle Winningham was an assistant coach at one point in time. You don't have to go out and get a retread head coach to come in to your program. UCLA, if you think about it in the Chip Kelly years when Deshaun Foster was a running back coach, man, we ran the crud out of the ball. And all those running backs from Charbonnet to Demetri Felton to Britton Brown, like a ton of those guys are still in the NFL. And so, like, the idea is that there's, Joshua Kelly, I just saw him the other day. He was a Deshaun Foster player. So he was a great assistant coach. He loves football. He loves UCLA. And I do think that there's a ton of UCLA fans that, once they get over the, I don't know stuff, I don't know, because we don't know. When you hire a young coach who was an assistant to be the head coach, you don't know. But from everything I've seen so far, people are on board. The players love him. And by the way, he's not soft. He's definitely he wants discipline from his players. They coach him really, really hard. But all the players know he's been there, done that. And I think that helps.
Wayne, great stuff as always, man. We love catching up with you. We love your honesty, and we look forward to catching up with you again here soon.
Thanks so much, Wayne.
Yep, tons of fun, guys. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Wayne Cook, working those UCLA sidelines. And you know what? I like guys that come on and, are just going to be like, yeah, we need to do better at this. And I kind of dig it. Look, he's part of the team. He's got a lot of roots there, and you can tell that dude eats, breathes, and sleeps UCLA sports.
Well, there's a couple big moves. Tino Sinceri is a big move.
Yeah.
And you go to Indiana, who had so much success. They found themselves in the college football playoffs, and they were a very sound offense. Tino comes in with his ideas, some of his philosophies, and probably makes this a little bit more difficult for the University of Utah. And then, as you guys mentioned, they go out to Tennessee, and they get Nico.
Yeah,
who is a great quarterback, and it's going to be a nice mix. I still think that this is a perfect and classic matchup for the University of Utah, because I think that there's a bit of that Pac-12 rivalry that still exists. It's still a nice Big Ten opponent to kick things off with, and I would still handicap that game in favor of Utah by a touchdown plus 7.5 points.
Yeah. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is your top 60 and 60 watch list as Hans and Scotty get you ready for the start of the 2025 college football season by highlighting the most influential players on their team for the upcoming season. And now,
get the call, baby! Come on, let's go!
Here's today's newest addition to the watch list.
It is your 60 and 60 watch list, continuing our countdown to the start of the college football season. Players we're keeping an eye on for our postseason ranking. Who could make that list? Well, a wide receiver from BYU certainly could.
Parker Kingston's a big play waiting to happen. It doesn't matter if you need him to throw it, run it, return it, fumble it, then pick it up and run it back for a touchdown. That's just what he does. He's a big playmaker and awesome and fun to be around. His work ethic and what he is able to accomplish at such a young age. I mean, he came in here and was able to take on ownership of a lot part of our game and playing slot receiver and having more of a role in the receiver part has been really big for us. But also it's just underrated blocker. He can spring big plays by what he does is stock blocking. And then you can see his ability in returns. We're looking forward to see him doing more returns than just the punt returns and taking over some of the kickoff return duties as well. But complete player, tons of speed and athletic ability, and looking forward to seeing the big plays that he can make this year.
Parker Kingston. We talk a lot about some of the other wide receivers at BYU. But keep an eye on Parker.
Parker has to be a large piece of this offense this year. It's got to be.
There'll be a lot of attention on Chase Roberts.
Ton of attention on Chase Roberts. I think Chase is obviously going to be the number one target. I do think JoJo Phillips will be the number two target.
Okay.
I think that Parker Kingston and Carson Ryan will fight for the number threes.
Last year, Parker Kingston, 13 catches, 196 yards, and 1 touchdown.
It's got to be double that this year because no Keelan Marion, which is going to hurt. No Darius Lassiter, which is going to hurt. So, do you have Darius Lassiter's numbers?
Lassiter last year, 45 catches, 703 yards, 4 touchdowns.
So Parker needs to be. Do you have Keelan's?
Keelan. Let's see. Where are you at, Keelan? 24 catches, 346 yards, and 1 touchdown.
That's closer.
Okay.
He needs to be anywhere from 25 to 30.
Yeah.
And he's got to be in that 400 to 500 yard range.
Yep.
That's what he should be.
I agree.
And I think that Carson Ryan is going to be right in that number, somewhere between 20 to 25.
Yeah.
Should be. They have really targeted him in the media observation periods that we've had an opportunity to go see. It feels like he's had 5 or 6 different catches.
Well, when you were, and look, I have nothing but respect for A-Rod. I think he's a tremendous coordinator, and he'll do really good things. I'm trying to think of his history with tight ends, though, because, when he was at Utah, that's when there wasn't a lot of work towards those tight ends.
Yeah.
And BYU, you had Rex, but even the tail end of his career wasn't as productive as we would have liked. And now you've got a absolute steal in Carson Ryan. Mm-hmm. How much is he going to be part of the offense? I certainly hope he will be at a high level.
I do too. And you lose Mason Fakahua. You lose Keanu Hill. You lose Ray Paulo. You lose Tavatase. That's 4 blocking at least some threat. Keanu Hill was supposed to be a much bigger threat and much bigger target than he actually ended up being. Those are 4 good tight ends. And you probably have a total of 5 receptions amongst them, maybe 6. I don't know if you got the numbers, but it might be 5 or 6.
If you count Hill, 12.
Oh, yeah, 12?
12 for 108 and 1 touchdown. And, you're looking about 21, 22. Add them all up.
So Carson Ryan needs to be that number, not added up. He needs to be close to that number.
I think he certainly can be.
But you're right. Aaron Roderick, he is famous for playing a lot of tight ends, And those tight ends having a lot of responsibility, but not being a primary target.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Carson Ryan's been targeted a lot.
That would be great. All right, let's get to it. Good, the bad, the ugly right here on The Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is the good, the bad, the ugly right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, brought to you by RGS Exteriors and Construction, obsessed with quality results. Tim and the crew, if it's the outside of your home, nobody's going to take better care of you. 801-280-3110. That's 801-280-3110. Well, hands in this day and age of college sports, when everybody is looking for that financial advantage, the University of Kansas announced that they have an alumni named David Booth. David Booth, who was, I want to say, in investment funds, one of their bigger donors. Well, he has now delivered the largest gift in college athletic history. He has pledged $300 million to the University of Kansas.
Yeah. 75 is going to be funding the next phase of this Gateway District.
You've been out there, too. You've seen this.
Yes. I was out there just before construction started. I got to see the plans of this Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium. Like, it's just unbelievable what they're doing. This is why this is great news. Because I think Utah fans and BYU fans will be like, oh, here we go, $300 million. They're going to get into the Texas Tech game. They're going to throw it all at recruits, and they're going to – this is why it's good. Texas Tech spending big money. Kansas spending big money. BYU spending big money. You want these teams to spend big money. You want them to build their platform, get competitive, and make the Big 12 the bell cow. The more money that is pushed into the Big 12, the more stability. The more stability, the more likely it is that you're at the big boys' table. So as much money as we can get flooding into this conference, if it's coming from private donors like David Booth, who, as you mentioned, is the founder of Dimensional Fund Advisors, which is a massive fund overlord that this guy built, worth insane amount of money. If he wants to put his $300 million in, I applaud it. I think so, I've seen some people push against it. Like, here we go, and college athletes are entitled, and this is what it takes. Yeah, well, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
When the Garf Group steps up and dishes however $1 million it was into the University of Utah and their stadium renovation, what was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember the number, but a significant amount to get that over the top.
The Garf Group stepped up big and made huge donations. Or it's whoever and whatever boosters that are doing it at BYU. Man, the more the merrier.
Could not completely agree with you more, because I think that you're in a situation now. And by the way, back in 2017, he gifted the university $50 million to get that football renovation started. So, I mean, this is a guy that puts his money where his mouth is. You just wish every school in some way, shape, or form had a David Booth. Maybe not to that level, but there's a lot of schools out there that are like, oh, man, I would like to just raise $300 million or $30 million.
Yeah.
I'd lose my mind over a $3 million gift.
Yeah.
$300 million.
$300 million. Woo. People will look at that and maybe even be embarrassed for them. Is it how I'd spend my money? No. I told you if I was a multi-billionaire, I told you what I would do.
It would be the Disneyland of dog parks.
Yes, it would be, and I kind of gave you my game plan on it.
Yeah, you did.
I do have that as a one sheet, and I will do it if I ever get a couple $1 billion.
I've already jotted down those notes.
Lloyd, don't be stealing it. No.
Lloyd takes it and runs with it. Lloyd hits the lottery.
Yeah, but Lloyd will end up being he'll treat those dogs like Ben Stiller on Happy Gilmore.
False. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he'd be having him do yard work.
You just pulled
dogs.
Iditarod duty.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're going to have cold paws.
Yep. All right, let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
Actually, I don't know if we're gonna have time for the ugly. I put this as an ugly, but I wanted to get your thoughts because I could see you going one of two ways on this one. So Denzel Washington has a movie coming up, Highest to Lowest, and he was on a sports show, a TV sports show, and was asked about his favorite NFL team. His favorite NFL team is the Dallas Cowboys. And apparently he went on a massive diatribe on how angry he is with the Cowboys. Here's what he said. It's been 30 years since the Cowboys have been to the Super Bowl, and it's because Jerry Jones is putting money over winning. I've been a Cowboys fan since the 60s. Jerry's making it hard for me not to be a fan because I'll always be a Cowboys fan. I'll still have that star on the side of the hat, but he's not thinking about us. He doesn't care about his fans. All he cares about is his pockets.
Huh.
So here's an actor. Doesn't have anything to do with sports, but boy, he is a diehard Cowboys fan, and he is angry that his Cowboys stink.
Didn't he have a quote, something like, not all money's good money?
Yes. Yeah.
It's one guy I don't want after me. I don't want Denzel Washington mad at me.
No.
He seems like such a sensible human being. Like, there are some people, I just don't care. Like, if Demi Lovato hated me, I'd be like, whatever, you're a weirdo. If Katy Perry hated me, I'd be like, shut up, Katy, I don't care. Yeah. If Paula Abdul didn't like me, I'd be like, shut up, Paula.
Paula's still with us?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I think so.
Unless you want to be caught up in a hit and run.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Straight up and tell us, Lloyd.
Ooh.
If Mary Lou Retton hated me,
that would hurt you a little bit.
You know it would.
That would hurt you.
Not after these DUIs, yeah.
I know, but still part of you like, not Mary Lou.
Man, she's had a terrible
You saw
ride.
that video of Mary Lou and you were like, your heart was broken a little bit. Be honest.
It did. It made me sick. It did. I can't believe it. And the way they bilked people out of the money.
Yeah.
Over this, whatever. I mean, you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Like, daughter made this GoFundMe, and they're like, woe's me. And all of a sudden, she gets in a DUI accident in like a $100,000 car.
All Wheaties money went away.
But Denzel, you would struggle with.
If Denzel was
being
mad
upset
at
with you.
I wouldn't like that.
How about, did the Bourne Identity help you enough with Matt Damon? Would you be worried about him?
I never saw the Bourne Identities or the Bourne things.
I actually think you might like those.
I don't know because
You're brave. So you're recommending those,
I
huh?
think he might like those.
But remember, I turned off the Keanu Reeves thing. What was the one he did?
Oh, John Wick?
Yeah, I turned those
never
off.
mind. Yeah, you probably wouldn't like that.
So
I think you should give it a try because Scotty thinks so.
Don't watch it with Amanda, though, please. I don't want her calling me.
Matt Damon. Yeah, I don't want Matt Damon upset at me.
Harrison Ford.
I don't know. I don't care about Harrison.
Okay.
No.
Well, he's like 95 years old. He's
Yeah.
not going to do anything
No.
to you.
I wouldn't even. Harrison, I wouldn't even pay attention to him.
Okay.
I'd say Denzel might
be the top of that
lead
list.
the charge. He just is the most. He just seems so foundational.
Jack Nicklaus.
Not
Or Nicholson. Who's the actor? Which one's the actor? Nicholson.
Not today's Jack.
Yeah. Red Rum Jack.
Cuckoo's Nest Jack, yeah.
1990s Jack? If 1990s Jack was like, Hans does not know how to run a football team, I'd be like, dang. I'd call him and just be like, hey, Jack, can I pay for your endorsement?
Please rescind that comment, please.
Cape Fear, Robert De Niro. That would scare the bejeebers out of me.
Counselor!
I don't. Yeah. I think Bobby De Niro.
I know, but I'm talking Cape Fear, Robert De Niro.
He would be a problem. Like 90s, early 2000s, Robert De Niro. Very powerful.
Yeah.
But he's just,
he's long gone.
Gone into the nut house.
All right, 150, Whole World News coming up next. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Go! It's time to span the globe for the hard-hitting news you care about. Well, not really. But hey, At least we found it interesting. This is Whole World News on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We've got the whole world in our hands.
You got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, Hans and I are here to help you. You got a business. You've got a service. You want us to help you get the word out. We're ready to go for you. We got unprecedented listenership. We got unprecedented podcast downloads. And we'd love for you to be part of the show. It's really simple. All you have to do is text HANDS to 57500. That's HANDS to 57500. You text that keyword, and we're going to love you up.
Yeah, Scotty and I are the most downloaded on this station by a country mile, and we want to help you.
Yes. So, you want to get a little love? Here's how you do it. And for those of you on the YouTube stream, HANDS to 57500. That's HANDS to 57500.
Can you even see that on the live stream, Lloyd?
Yes, I can.
All right. You see how I spelled it? No W. HANS 57500. And people are like, why are you and Scotty running this summer promotion? Oh, because we're trying to stay employed. So if you could give us some help, we sure would love you for it. And we would love to recognize, represent, and learn about your brand. In fact, Scotty and I just had a meeting yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
With a client that has come in through this 57500 by texting HANDS. We met with him yesterday, went through his facilities, and we are very excited to start a new partnership with a brand new brand.
All right, Whole World News right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Wyoming Department of Health are now in an effort to track down visitors from 38 states and 7 countries after hundreds of people have been potentially exposed to rabies at a hotel at the Grand Teton National Park. Rabies. At least 200 guests who stayed at the Jackson Lake Lodge from May 15th to July 27th may have been exposed to a suspected bat colony at the hotel. A block at the cottage-style hotel rooms 516, 518, 520, 522, 524, 526, 528, and 530 all had bats living in the attic space above.
Holy crap.
After 8 reported run-ins with bats since June, the lodge closed the 8 rooms on July 27th. It's like, oh, you didn't close it after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It took 8 reports with bats before they decided to figure out what was going on. Remember, rabies is passed through saliva. And so if you've got a drooling bat hovering over you, you can still catch it. It doesn't have to necessarily be from a bite.
Holy crap.
What was that old Lou Diamond Phillips movie that was about bats?
Cujo.
No. Lou Diamond
Young
Phillips
Guns?
was not in... No. I literally think it was
La
called
Bamba.
Bats. No.
That didn't end well for him.
Richie!
That didn't end well for him at the end of that one.
La Bamba. I don't remember any bats in La Bamba.
Planes, but no bats.
There was bats in Young Guns.
Bats in a bottle of tequila in Mexico.
Do you understand the effects of rabies?
Oh, yeah. I'm just reading up about it. It's rough.
Yeah, so it's actually a disease, and it affects the brain and the nerves of the body.
Yeah.
And you start by getting a severe fever, a really bad headache. It's a horrible overcoming of the body. And then you get crazy anxiety, weird heart palpitations. And then what happens is the nerves in the throat and the neck are affected by the rabies. You can't drink. You can't swallow water. If you go to swallow something, your body will convulse. So you get extremely dehydrated. Eventually what happens is you fall into paralysis. If this isn't treated, your body falls into paralysis.
Wow.
And then once it falls into paralysis, you go to the coma. Once you go to coma, the eventual result is death.
Yeah,
that's the effects of rabies.
So it says here, if not treated immediately, the disease is almost always fatal.
But didn't you say this was like back in May? What were the dates?
Let's see here. May 15th to July 27th.
Well, that's been a little bit.
I wonder how many people died.
Jeez.
But let's call it what it is. It's the phobia.
Yeah.
Remember when we were young? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the same for you guys. It was one of the things I feared the most when I was young because of Old Yeller. And I remember watching Old Yeller and thinking, oh, Old Yeller's got the phobia. Well, what if I get the phobia? Because there was always fox and squirrels and things that were crazy around Idaho.
Yeah.
It's like, well, make sure if it's got a foaming mouth and it bites you, you might get the phobia. And if you get the phobia, you'll die.
Yeah.
Between that and the, what was it, the hantavirus, the Four Corners thing back in the 90s? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
I do remember the hantavirus.
Yeah, and that actually, with the mouse droppings, it actually scared the hell out of me.
So they said if you are in one of those hotel rooms and you received a bite or a scratch from a bat, that's good. That's a bad sign. Saliva from a bat, physical contact with a bat, or a person who cannot confirm or communicate a potential exposure, like a child, a deep sleeper, or someone who is mentally impaired, or those that may have been on mind-altering drugs.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, people going to Yellowstone, Teton, they're probably on something.
Light up something.
Some of them, anyways.
By the way, the reason they call it the phobia, they get the phobia, is because its technical name is hydrophobia.
Oh, okay.
And so it's, as you could tell, it's affected me my entire life. Old Yeller screwed me up, man.
Yeah.
And Cujo.
I don't want to. Yeah, Cujo for sure.
In a different
Was it the
way.
phobia on Cujo? Or?
Cujo, yeah, he got bit by a bat.
I know. Oh, okay. I knew, obviously, he went crazy and ate a bunch of people, but I didn't know what actually caused it.
Yeah, I think it was. I think he got bit by a bat.
I'll tell you, bats cause complete hell in this world.
Look.
The wet markets.
Thanks.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, and then also, it's this thing called COVID.
Yeah.
Well, depending on who you believe.
That came from the wet markets, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
wet market. That's what you said. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like that's the bats mixed with pigs, and you got trouble, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean,
And then birds get the flu, and who knows what up.
yeah, birds and then cows get crazy.
Yeah. By the way, you go somewhere overseas and they say, here, eat some bat. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't eat the bat.
Just stay away from the bat.
Maybe we just need to start eradicating the bat.
See, what good does a bat really do?
Nothing. Let's take the bats out.
Let's take them out.
So, is anybody come forward in Wyoming with the
the
phobia?
story says no one yet has been confirmed, but they are concerned. So they are tracking everybody down.
Good luck.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.